Hallo miteinander, I'm Gish86 and this is the Disappearing of Gensokyo. Last time we were trespassing on private property, but only with the best of intentions. It's crucial which partner we bring today. Due to her high speed and with what's ahead, Marissa has worked better for me in the past. Cherno may be powerful, but often felt too sluggish in my attempts. The mistress of the Scarlet Devil Mansion is elevated on some steps over here. Typical of her to talk from high up to us lesser folk. One of the lore books from the previous episode becomes relevant here. Remilia had to kill her dear Black Sakuya when the maid went berserk and is of course still shaken and furious from that experience. Despite our help in defending the mansion, Tenshi's lack of empathy angers the vampire even more and makes her attack. Remilia may be wearing different colors, yet this is not another doppelganger. Some girls own more than one dress. What a concept. Our opponent alternates from shooting bullets to wild flurries of melee slashes and finally throwing her Gungnir. A red cone will appear to warn you of the spear. You must get out of there before it's launched. Otherwise, the Gungnir will be homing and unavoidable. The idea is that it's easier to leave the targeting cone when you're close to Remilia, but on that low distance you must always fear the melee flurries. At around 2/3 of her hit points, the Scarlet Devil casts Red the Nightless Castle. If you deal enough damage during it, she will follow that up with a special attack that will choke you and steal your life. That's right, under the right circumstances, Remilia can even heal herself. At around 50% health, the final phase will start, in which all attacks come out even faster. All it takes are tiny mistakes, and your fate is sealed. This is how most of my attempts go. All we can do is try again and try harder. At the start of the fight and every now and again, Remilia teleports to the center of the room. That is the best occasion for throwing out one of Marissa's bombs. We've had the good luck of picking up Cherno early on in this round. During the Red the Nightless Castle phase, the Ice Fairy deals more damage than Marissa. It's every other portion of the encounter that the witch does better at. It's too bad Red the Nightless Castle is never repeated. It looks flashy but is honestly the least effective attack of the Scarlet Devil here. Once again, watch out for the life steal that always follows. It unfortunately looks like any other melee onslaught, and may even be used again in the second phase from time to time. Look at all these wall-bouncing bat bullets, that's ludicrous. Then there's still the Gungnir. Oh, how I hate the second phase. The problem with that attack is the severe hit stun. If the first spear gets you, the next two will be nearly unavoidable. It's only thanks to the Unbreakable perk that we survived. We were definitely a single bullet away from death there. Luckily, so was Remilia, except that it's a laser, not a bullet. What a clutch victory. I cannot boast with that. As always, we get 3 magic pieces for free. Anyone who somehow made it here deserves them. Even though we exploded Remilia into thin air, she's alive again in this cutscene and much less frustrated than before. Having relieved her anger, the vampire turns out to be exceptionally cooperative. Remilia is very interested in seeing the incident resolved. This was not about enforcing our will on her. She never had a problem donating her rocket ship to our cause. It was well worth coming here after all, and it feels like the moon is within reach. That reach does, however, span at least another level. Yes, Reisen, you're a rabbit, not a monkey. Satori and Koichi are the two Touhous closest to monkeys. Since the upcoming dialogue is mostly summarizing events, I wanted to keep talking about Remilia's boss fight. For my first victory against her, it took me 15 tries or so. It is a massive difficulty spike, and I also think no small number of people rage quit against her. The amount of Steam users that have her achievement is 10% lower than that of the previous milestone. My impression is that if you can bring up the commitment to beat Remilia, you likely have the potential to overcome anything else DOG throws at you. Likely. In a ranking of toughest boss fights of the game, I would place the Scarlet Devil onto the third spot, the bronze medal. It might even tie with the second. My point is that she is strikingly difficult for the moment you encounter her in, and is an even harder nut to crack than some of the bosses that follow. Initially, I was shocked with how Remilia mopped the floor with me, and I was wondering if MyACG was serious about what's expected of me, or if there was some sort of trick I didn't know of. As in, maybe you had to find an item in the room, a piece of garlic or something wacky. Nope, you just have to endure, and in enduring grows strong. Tenshi is still perplexed that White Tenshi might be her future self from an alternative dimension. Once again, the subject shifts towards a lack of female endowment. Iku's solution to that is the best milk. Is this turning into a PSA? And now she's calling the Premium Milk Factory. Yeah, I guess Tenshi will have to drink her milk and eat her greens so that she can grow big and strong like Mr. T. She may also get larger boobs from that, unlike Mr. T, I'm sure. We have a new hireling. Remilia suffers from the Labyrinth of Touhou syndrome of being much weaker as a recruit than when fought as a boss. Like Alice, she sports melee prowess in a game that is still very unkind to such archetypes. I would, however, say she's the most useful of these brawlers. We may spend the 1000 point icons on her one day, but she does not have a higher priority than Chirno's or Marissa's blacksmith upgrades. I do appreciate the special design they gave Remilia for this game. Interestingly, the free Color Pack DLC does include Little Miss Scarlet's original pink dress. Anyone who still prefers the canonical outfit can activate that. It's one of the more reasonable costume alternatives. Just so you know, the pack also includes Fire Chirno. Reisen is starting to figure out that Tenshi is a magnet for trouble. Doesn't matter if it's Suika, Kokoro, or now Remilia, our protagonist will find a way to offend the people she meets. Well, not consistently. Plenty of our companions have joined without the need for violence, like Alice or Marissa. Can you imagine how painful Laser Marissa would have been as a boss? It would have been souls hard. You know how much of a joke it has become when game reviewers or journalists pull out the Dark Souls comparison? Actually, with all the losses I've had to Remilia, she cost me more nerves than several of the bosses in the Souls-likes that I've played over the years. I wouldn't just be throwing out buzzwords if I said it was a similar kind of difficulty. It would be partially justified. To call DOG the Dark Souls of twin-stick shooters wouldn't be completely cringeworthy. Oh, who am I kidding? You would all roll your eyes at me. Let us just agree that today's boss fight was very lethal. You're under so much pressure to keep in motion, it's such an unforgiving game of positioning. Too close and the melee will rip you apart. too far away from the young mistress, and you'll be punished by homing Gungnir's. No one is hiding in the secret zone today, but I do have a different kind of secret to share with you. Our clash with Remilia would have been accompanied by another Yuhei satellite vocal track on hard and lunatic modes. It's called Opposite World and is one of 7 zillion rearranges in our universe of Septet for a Dead Princess. It happens to be one of the most remarkable of them, as, you've guessed it, it is sung by Senya. It is a really gentle track that keeps growing in intensity as it goes on. I have another piece of trivia for Emilia's boss fight. It seems to have been completed pretty early in development and was the conclusion for a demo build of that time. Perhaps that is why it is so fiendishly difficult, being the bombastic finale to that version and then ending up somewhere around the mid-game of the end product. I'm wondering if the fight was ever adjusted and balanced since then. I do remember seeing a video of it years ago and thinking it looked crazy brutal. With that, we have gone through all the dialogue again. I'm Geshidi6, this was the Disappearing of Gensokyo, and next time, a liftoff with innumerable complications. Bis bald!